All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here, and I hope y'all are strapped into your bicycles because Grandpa Joe is back in the building, and we wouldn't want y'all or myself to fall off. So once again, we're talking about Mr. Biden, of course. As always, it should be an interesting one. Let's get it popping.
Joe Biden has been in office over 100 days now. On a scale of 1 to 10,
longer than that.
What's the grade we're giving him?
0.
1. 0.
I think he's doing about how we expected him to be doing, so about a 5.
Are negatives allowed?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a number past negative infinite.
Negative infinite. That about sums it up.
Hey everybody, I'm Cabba Phillips with the Daily Wire. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee, talking to people about Joe Biden. Scale of 1 to 10. How's he doing? What has he done? Can you think of anything?
So they're in one of the more southern labeled states. So this could be different versus if you were to interview people in New York or California or where I'm at now in Illinois. Lord help this country, but I hope they're honest with it. I hope they don't try to push this fake nonsense that Joe Biden has done a whole bunch of monumental positive things, because we know that ain't the case.
0. Why?
0. I think he doesn't know anything he's talking about.
-1.
I'd
Say about where he's at.
5. I don't know.
5 right in the middle.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 maybe.
I give him 7.5.
7.5? All right. Why?
On a scale of what? 1,000?
2 years of college free. That sounds absolutely great to me. I don't know about y'all. Number 2, I mean, look at him. Look what he's doing. I mean, he's unwriting everything that was messed up and bringing new laws in and kind of helping the whole congregation, if you ask me. So yeah.
1. A 1.
I'm just curious. What is he rewriting that was messed up, and what has he done to aid in it? Because 2 years of college free, that's what it boils down to, honestly. And a bunch of people holding their hands out, waiting for crumbs to fall that never will. And that's not the way to operate. You got to learn how to go out and attain those things with hard work, with discipline, with... These people weren't taught that, though. I understand. And I'm not saying these people. I mean, children nowadays, adults, all races, we all bleed red. So there's one race, human race, before anybody goes crazy in the comments. But that's the problem. People want these handouts, and Joe Biden, the government, nobody is going to give that to you. You got to earn the things that you say you want. It's that simple. And that entitlement, that lack of accountability mindset, it's not going to get anywhere in society. It only sinks us lower and lower. And we got to call out the nonsense when we see it.
Everything that was messed up and bringing new laws in and kind of helping the whole
right and the wrong.
Congregation, if you ask me.
50 years in.
1. A 1, all right.
What wrongs has
I'd
he
be
written?
down in the minus numbers.
Between the 5 to 7 range.
A 2.
A 2. All right. Why?
So all the chaos going on in the country. So you got border crisis, you got can't find workers, you got crops can't get harvested because you don't have workers, you got gas outages, prices are going up, wood's going up. We're from the West Coast, we haven't been able to get propane for the last 4 months.
I would say about 6. Let's do 5.5.
4.
4.
I'll give him a 5.
He's doing a good job. I'd say a 6 too. What do you view as some of the things positively? That's on the positive side. What do you view positive?
Right now I can only say maybe the stimulus check right now, but other than all the other things that he demanded, like me, I have student loans. He said before he got in office that he would defer them. That hasn't happened yet.
That stimmy check hit though, so we got that. Okay.
His main accomplishment has been...
Why? I can't, y'all. I can't. We're going to talk about this in detail in the end, but he said he would defer your student loans. You chose to go to school. You chose to go to whatever university you did with that tuition each year. You made that call. Biden didn't make that call. Bernie Sanders said he would have raised him. He didn't tell you to go to that school. At what point do we have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I went this path. This is the path that I chose. It was in God's plan, but why should anybody else have to pay for your decisions?
His main accomplishment has been to destroy everything that we've accomplished over the past 4 years. Pretty much everything that the prior president had accomplished, which was amazing.
I'm Israeli.
45.
So the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I know a lot about it. There was peace all the years that Trump was president. Biden has been president for how long? And there's a war in the Middle East right now.
Do you feel like he's visible enough, or do you feel like he's kind of hiding out a lot?
He's behind the scenes a lot. He's not what it is. He's a
figurehead,
as Trump was. He's not out on Twitter. He's not just mainstream.
When's the last time you remember seeing
president,
Joe Biden?
a leader?
Oh man,
Yeah, couldn't say.
I couldn't tell you.
Can't remember what I saw him do last because I haven't really seen much of him.
Before
fly on his head. No, that was Mike Pence. Oh God, I don't remember.
Definitely not as much as like we would see Trump. We would see him all the time, good or bad. But I feel like we haven't seen him at all.
Do you remember any?
No.
Inauguration probably on TV.
Yeah,
for the first day you became president.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Debates. The debate.
That's wild. He's president now, though. That was before he was president.
I have not heard or seen, or I have not seen him.
I don't remember seeing Joe
Nada.
Biden did that speech, and he referred to his wife as his husband or something like that.
This is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister.
No, Joe, they ain't switched. You just ain't coherent. You don't know what's going on. And there's been a million Joe Biden gaffes. We already know that's the case. Oh, Biden, come. My goodness, this man, I feel bad for him, and I'm praying for him because the amount of pressure that's on him. Let's take a different perspective. He's done horrible in office, but the people behind the scenes that, you know, are really making the calls, he's the figurehead at the end of the day. He doesn't even know what president he is, what year it is. Give the man a break. I mean, he's been in politics for 50 plus years, hasn't accomplished zilch to my understanding. You may disagree in the comments, that you're entitled that right, but let's pray for this man. Let's pray that before this first term, and hopefully that's the only term that he's in there, Lord willing, I'd rather have him than Kamala Harris all day long. Let's pray that he stays alive all the way through, because the man is getting up there in years. But let's hope that he moves something in a positive direction. Let's hope he accomplishes at least one thing that gets us on the right foot going into the next presidency. I hope it's DeSantis. It could be Trump, but Trump's real old too. I'm hoping for DeSantis at this point. I've lived in Florida. I loved it. Ron knows what he's doing.
That's so ridiculous.
That was before he was president.
Idiot.
Yeah, probably.
Do you remember anything? Anything he's done?
Besides, like,
sent the stimmy.
him saying a lot when he talked.
With I don't know.
Oh, Joe.
Like, I can't pick nothing else out.
What, free college?
The free college.
I mean, I think they
That's a
keep
win,
him
huh?
behind the scenes because he
That's the problem.
speaks like a lunatic. He doesn't really.
I think he's mentally ill.
He doesn't make sense.
I feel like Kamala is the one who mainly takes the lead between them.
Do you think
And that's
that
even worse.
Vice President Harris is kind of making decisions behind the scenes?
I do.
Yeah, my name's Kamala Harris. I'm wearing a blue suit. I'm a she, her, him, etc. Nobody knows I'm black. I'm Indian. This world, y'all, come on now.
I do think so. I think he has some definite challenges mentally. I definitely think she's running the show behind the scenes.
Kamala Harris, there's a whole backstory behind that. So no, I like Biden so far.
What's the backstory? I got to know.
I don't know.
Went horizontal to go vertical.
I don't feel like she'd be a great president, you know.
I think there's somebody running the country, and it's
Lord,
not Joe
no.
Biden.
If this camera was beamed into Joe Biden's living room, he's sitting in his pajamas, he's watching the screen, what would your message to him be?
If you don't think that you can make it for the next 4 years or 3 years, get out now.
Criticisms from the left on Trump were ridiculous. And now there's no criticism of Joe Biden. He doesn't take questions.
I'll circle back.
Take some questions. Put your people out
Double
there.
standard.
But do the right thing and play fair.
I feel like I would send him cookies and some more milk or something. That's kind of what I picture when I see him. I'm like, this is a nice old man that needs a bedtime story. And
that's not a leader though.
I would say do what you said you were gonna do.
Do you mind if I ask if you voted for him?
I did vote for him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you voted for him. Do you feel any kind of remorse? You're saying he's not doing what you thought he would do.
I don't feel remorse because I wanted Trump out, but I feel like it's the lesser of two evils, you know?
He seems like a
Really?
nice guy. It's like
How do you feel about that now? How'd that play out?
The drama that America and the whole world is going through. I think I'm just man, just let loose. You know, he's a funny guy. He makes jokes. You know, he's a funny guy. So I want more of that.
Appreciate it for the 2 years of college free. The third one can come out the pocket. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen. Pay attention.
Fuck Joe Biden. Trump should still be president. Trump 2024.
Oh my goodness, there's so much wrong with society right now. It's insane. And shout out to Daily Wire for providing that. Shout out to the people in Nashville for, just having the courage to step up to the microphone and share your opinion. I know in this day and age it's hard to have your own opinion, your own thought process, even if it's way off the rocker, even if it has no basis in fact and you don't know what's going on. at least you're there, I guess, right? Unlike Joe Biden. Now, I don't know about y'all, but personally, ever since the day Biden was inaugurated, I think things went downhill from that moment very fast. And this video right here is an excellent case study as to how ignorant and irrational many voters truly are. And they picked Biden because they wanted Trump out. But now I hope they take a step back and realize, like, yo, Trump was really a leader. Trump really went into office and did what he said he was going to do. He tried to drain the swamp. He had the economy booming. Nobody stepped on him like Putin does with Biden. Nobody attempted to lower Trump into whatever thinking process that they had. He wasn't a politician. That's the beautiful thing. Like, he actually does what he says, unlike people that have been in politics for 50 years and they give all these false claims. They tell you what you want to hear. They butter you up. They make you feel good. But at the end of the day, when it's time to deliver, when it's time to step up to bat, they strike out every single time. They're not actually there for the people. They're not actually there to push society in a progressive direction. They're there to stuff their pockets to help out their family, Hunter Biden, and all the other things that amount to greed and things that you can't take with you. They're not based in the Lord. They're not out for other people. They don't love God. They don't love their neighbor. And that's the problem. And no wonder you see these people on the left. You see these people that voted for Biden cursing, bashing, belittling, beating down and critical race theory and pushing all these false rhetorics on kids and buying into this gay agenda, telling kids that they could transform, pushing it in schools, not allowing parents to, send their kids off to school feeling safe. And it's crazy out here, and Biden, he has to take that blame. He hasn't accomplished anything, but he has put us in a very weakened state as a country. And it's a horrible thing. It's scary, but we got to call it out when we see it. And I really want to take a second to hone in, and I know this may seem negative, but we got to talk about how tragic this presidency has been. And I'm talking about everybody from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris to everybody behind the scenes, the she, hers, that I don't know what's going on. It's hard to even acknowledge who's a man, who's a woman, but that's all there is at the end of the day. But I got a list, y'all. Since he became 46th president of the United States, it's that bad that I had to make a list just to keep my thoughts in order, because there's been so many mishaps. Not even talking about the gaffes, not even talking about when he goes on TV and makes an absolute buffoon of himself. First off, we got to talk about that border crisis, because at the southern border, it's been an ongoing disaster as far as security is concerned. The massive spike in the border crossings that initially was excused by Biden allies in the media as a seasonal problem is now become a truly seasonal problem. It's open border season, and people are allowed to come over here, take what we got, enhance the violence, and it's bad. It's bad. And we got to lock it down. Just how you lock your doors at night. I'm sure you've heard it time and time again. Just how you hopefully lock your vehicle and protect what you care about. It's nothing racist about it. You lock down and protect what you love and what you have earned and what's your right to do as an American citizen. So there's nothing racist about telling somebody they got to go through the necessary legal precautions to become a citizen. That's just saying, hey, we respect the things that we have here, and you can't just come in and take it just because you want to, just because you feel bad about where you come from. That's not our problem. At some point, you have to say, you know what? We didn't put ourselves in that situation. You can come here, but you got to go through a few steps to get here so we know you're in it for the right reasons. And number two, that withdrawal from Afghanistan was messy as all get out. Like, the Biden administration assured that the country would withdraw in an orderly fashion. And ever since Afghanistan government, they were collapsed. The Taliban took over the country in just a few weeks. And to make matters worse, as the crisis was going down, the Biden administration seemingly was nowhere to be found. Joe had nothing to say about it. And we witnessed it, a massive fiasco with videos of Afghans falling off departing planes. That's horrible. In a desperate attempt just to escape the country that they were at. But the administration kept quiet and then made a bunch of excuses. Number three, if you look at society right now, look at the crime surges across the country. Like, American cities have experienced an explosion of violent crimes since the summer of 2020. And I know Trump was still in office in the summer of 2020, but it was going through a transition. And it's a trend that shows no sign of slowing down. And in December, ABC News reported that a dozen U.S. cities had set homicide records in 2021 alone. And then you look at 2022, look all around, look at Chicago, look at all these lower income poverty-ridden states. Look at all these lower income poverty-ridden cities that nobody shows on the media. They only show these isolated situations of mass shootings and push this agenda that guns are bad, people are bad, and administration is nowhere to be found when all these crimes are happening on a daily basis. And number four, this is insane to me, and it always baffled my mind that he wants us to depend completely on energy and go electric. So that means retiring the fossil fuels, the gas that you put in your vehicle. That's no more. So that would mean trading in your beastly truck, pickup, Tahoe, could be an SUV, you know what I'm saying? Or like a Challenger, Scat Pack, things of that nature. He wants you to switch that out for a battery powered machine, which then that correlates to the government having complete control of that power grid. And that's what's used to charge the battery. So if they shut that down, you're back stuck in the house. That don't sound like a good plan to me. And number 5, as sad as it is, what happened between Russia and Ukraine is a complete result of his weak-minded approach and lack of stepping up and telling people when they're wrong and what they can and can't do when it comes to other countries bashing and belittling and taking advantage of other people. That never would have happened, and Putin never would have had the nerve to try that stuff when Trump was in office. I guarantee it. And yeah, we're still going. We got number 6. Remember when Biden said he would shut down the COVID-19 virus and not the economy? Well, look around. Rising inflation that his administration said would only be a temporary problem and that they had a handle on it. Now we have a mini recession going on and people are still rocking masks and fearing the 19. So how'd that work out, Joe? And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off at number 7 because at this point I feel bad for the man slightly, even though, he put himself in this situation right here. And we talk about accountability a lot on this channel. So that's where it starts. But we got a war on parents and children. The stuff that's being pushed on these kids at school. We got critical race theory being pushed in the curriculum, making white kids feel bad for the way that they were born. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. So you shouldn't be pushing this false rhetoric of just because you were born this way, you're automatically racist, or just because you look this way, that means you have some sort of advantage that the kid that doesn't look like you had, that they don't have. And that just doesn't make any sort of sense. And on top of that, schools have been closing down. You got kids buying into and falling for this gay agenda. Parents send their kids off to school, and then the teacher's talking about sex when a kid's in kindergarten, talking about this part, this is how it happens. If you want to change it, you can in fact change. No, you can't. You can't change any of that genetic DNA. You can't switch chromosomes. You can't determine what gender you are. Only God can do that. We were all created in his image, period. You can't critique that. You could feel bad about it. You could feel some type of way, get in your feelings, but at the end of the day, you can't call an audible on what God made you. It is what it is. Face up to it. Become the best man or woman that you could be, no matter what color, skin tone, whatever pigmentation you have. It's irrelevant at the end of the day. You can make it. We had Barack Obama in the office. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a black president. I know he wasn't fully black, but he black enough. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we got to stop doing all this right here, pushing this victim mentality. And I know that's not all of it. And I'm sure y'all could list some things that I forgot to mention down below, but I got to give it to Joe and his whole administration, his whole cabinet. I thought Obama was the worst president in U.S. history, but old Joe managed to outdo him. And it's been a complete train wreck that I honestly pray from this point forward that it could get better. But if it doesn't, after this term is over, after we endure the rest of this chaos, we get somebody new in office. No more left-leaning lunatics. And that may be a sin of me to say, but they bring it on themselves. God always gives us a path. You can go the righteous path or you can go the Satan sin-filled path and not turn to Jesus. And people on the left, most of them, take that direction. They kill innocent babies. They tell people they're victims. They can't do this. They don't fear the Lord. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We got to get these people up out of there. We got to start standing up and being patriots again and going after the things that we know are right. We got to get our country back. And it starts with loving people. It starts with loving God and loving your neighbor. But at some point, you got to stand up and say, you know what? That's wrong. And we're not going to tolerate that stuff any longer. But hey, I know I went on a long rant. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Let's keep this conversation rolling. What do you think? Do you think Biden has accomplished anything in a positive direction whatsoever? Or do you think this video about summed it up and then add insult to injury with all the things I just listed off my list? That's how bad it is. When you got to bust out a list, you know the problems are real. But again, let's be civil down below. You're entitled to your own opinion. Everybody has a few of them like elbows. We all got them. So let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're new so you can stay up to date on all these videos. Share this video just for pure comedic value or just a little info to display in front of people. Allow them to make their own decisions and think for themselves and go from there. Outside of that, if you want to support the channel, you can always donate on PayPal. You can buy me a coffee. Hit the little thanks button on YouTube. Has a little heart next to it. All my links are down below as far as products I use, buy you some Gibby gear. All of that is down below. But until next time, I love y'all. I'm praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.